why don't you say this to the people who come to you for help and advice? I asked my father. He put his hands on my shoulders and looked straight into my eyes. For quite some time he said nothing, as if he was judging my capacity to comprehend his words. Then he answered in a low, deep voice. His answer filled with me filled me with a strange energy and enthusiasm. Whenever human beings find themselves alone, as a natural reaction, they start looking for company. Whenever they are in trouble, they look for someone to help them. Whenever there is an impasse, they look to someone to show them the way out. Every recurrent anguish, longing, and desire finds its own special helper. For the people who come to me in distress, I am but a go between in their effort to propitiate demonic forces with prayers and offerings. This is not a correct approach at all and should never be followed. One must understand the difference between a fear ridden vision of destiny and the vision that enables us to seek the enemy of fulfillment within ourselves. My dear students, try to remember the former paragraph which we taught, which I taught you the other day. There was the relevance of prayer. As far as I can remember, I told you that here writer APJ Abdul Kalam asked his father regarding the relevance or contextuality of prayer. His father's reply was that there was no mystery in prayer. On the contrary, when a man is engaged in making a prayer, he became able to transcend his body and to become a part of the cosmos or universe. No distinction was made in such a universe in regards of wealth, age, caste, or creed. Then, in the following paragraph, there was the continuation of the former one. There, the narrator's father, Jainul Abdin, tried to assure APJ Abdul Kalam by saying that in his own state, a man, whether it is in the negative aspect or positive aspect, is an element of the whole manifest divine being, that is Almighty God. So, there is no necessity to be afraid of problems. On the contrary, one should face problem or trouble boldly and try to find out the relevance of the prayer. We have to remember in our mind one thing, that adversity or the inclement condition or inclemency provides us a scope to analyze us ourselves. That is, it enables us to introspect ourselves. Here we have the continuation of that idea. APJ Abdul Kalam's father was asked by APJ Abdul Kalam why he did not tell the simple thing to the persons who came to visit him, came to take his advice. Then it seemed to APJ Abdul Kalam that his father was measuring him whether he had the capability to understand the words which Jainul Abdin was going to tell him. Then, in a low but serious voice, he told him something which supplied a strange energy and enthusiasm within the narrator here, APJ Abdul Kalam. His father words was like this: when a person falls in trouble, he searches for someone who can help him in that troublesome condition. Not only that, whenever a person reaches in a deadlock situation, he searches for someone who can show him the way out. Thus, in every problematic situation, there is a particular or specific or special helper. Here we have the concluding part of the paragraph. We have seen that APJ Abdul Kalam's father Jainul Abdin was a man who helped other persons to send their prayer to the Almighty Allah. So, his role was only of a middleman. According to Jainul Abdin, this was not a right approach and it should not be followed. Man always tries to please or satisfy the goddess, god, etc. with their prayer and offerings, and a middleman's role is very limited here. In the conclusion, we can draw the resolution that one must understand difference between the vision of destiny which is driven by fear, and the vision that helps us with the ability to find out the inimical forces of fulfillment within ourselves. Now I am explaining the text. Why don't you say this to the people who come to you for help and advice? I asked my father. Here I refers to APJ Abdul Kalam, the writer himself. He threw a question to his father why he did not tell this the people who came to him for help and advice. So, here the answer is implied within the question itself. It was the opinion of APJ Abdul Kalam that his father should tell the people who came to him for help and advice the simplicity in which he told APJ Abdul Kalam the significance of prayer. He put his hands on my shoulders and looked straight into my eyes. Then, for a moment or a fraction of moment, the narrator's father, Jainul Abdin, observed APJ Abdul Kalam. He put his hands on APJ Abdul Kalam's shoulders and looked straight into his eyes. That is, he was trying to get an idea regarding the narrator here. For quite some time he said nothing. That means for quite some time Jainul Abdin remained silent, as if he was judging my capacity to comprehend his words. So, naturally, it seemed to APJ Abdul Kalam that his father was measuring the capacity of his comprehension or measuring the capacity of APJ Abdul Kalam regarding his words. His words here refers to the words which would be told by his father Jainul Abdin regarding APJ Abdul Kalam's query to his father. Then he answered in a low, deep voice. Then Jainul Abdin answered to the narrator's query in a low, deep voice. Here, notice the use of the two adjectives low, deep. Low means mild and deep means here serious. That is, APJ Abdul Kalam's father was polite, mild in his tone, but he was serious, he was grave in his mood. His answer filled me with a strange energy and enthusiasm, but Jainul Abdin's words worked miraculously on APJ Abdul Kalam. He was filled with a strange energy and enthusiasm. Strange means that cannot be stereotype or conventional or something odd. Energy means which is required to work energy, and enthusiasm means the mentality which is required to do something. Whenever human beings find themselves alone as a natural reaction, they start looking for company. It is the human quality, or maybe termed as inborn human quality, that whenever a man finds himself surrounded with loneliness, naturally or as a natural reaction, he seeks SWKs, seeks human company. That is, a man cannot live alone, and whenever a person finds himself to be alone, he starts searches for finding out a company. That means he is ready to solve his problem in his own effort. Whenever they are in trouble, they look for someone to help them. The same thing may happen when a person finds himself in a troublesome or problematic situation. He searches for a person who may be a possible helper to him or her. Whenever there is an impasse, they look to someone to show them the way out. Whenever persons can find themselves in a deadlock situation, that is, there is only halt but no progress, they look for someone who can show them the way out to get out of the deadlock situation or impasse. That is, whenever a person is in an unnatural situation, he on his own accord tries to find out a solution of that problematic situation or troublesome situation. Every recurrent anguish, longing, and desire finds its own special helper. Recurrent means something occurs after an interval repeatedly. Recurrent anguish. Anguish means the pain of the mind, longing, hankering, and desire, strong wish, finds its own special helper. That is such mental condition or mental conditions find its special or the helper to those mental situation. For the people who come to me in distress, the persons who are in the habit of coming to me to minimize their distress, I am but a go between in their effort. That is, I am only a middleman in their effort to propitiate demonic forces. From the word, the adjective demonic is, originates. So, one of the basic features of human being is to propitiate or to appease or to satisfy the demonic forces with prayers and offerings. They offer or they send prayers and offerings to those demonic forces in order to propitiate, in order to satisfy them. This is not a correct approach at all. According to Jainul Abdin, this is an incorrect approach and should never be followed. That's why it should never be maintained. One must understand the difference between, it is the observation, it is the conclusion of this paragraph. One must understand difference. Here one refers, does not refer to a particular person. It should be the feature of entire human being. To understand the difference, to understand the distinction between fear-ridden vision of destiny. Destiny means something which has earlier been settled regarding our fate, and this vision, that is inner sight, is fear ridden or it is driven by fear and vision, and there is another kind of vision or inner sight that enables us, it helps us to seek the enemy of fulfillment, inimical force in the form of or for fulfillment within ourselves. That is, there is a enemy within ourselves and it originates from our fulfillment. One should have the vision which enables him or her to find out that enemy. So, here one should or we should make a difference between those two kinds of vision. One is fear-ridden vision of destiny, and the other is the vision which helps us to find out the enemy of fulfillment within ourselves. I remember my father starting his day at 4 a.m. by reading the namaz before dawn. After the namaz, he used to walk down to a small coconut grove we owned, about 4 miles from our home. He would return with about a dozen coconuts tied together thrown over his shoulder, and only then would he have his breakfast. This remained his routine even when he was in his late 60s. Here, the narrator APJ Abdul Kalam is stating the daily routine of his father Jainul Abdin. He could recollect that his father started his day very early, and we have already learnt that he was a pious man, he was a religious minded man. That's why he read the namaz. before dawn. Then he would travel to their coconut grove, which was situated at a distance of 4 miles from their home. He was also in the habit of carrying nearly a dozen coconuts over his shoulder, and then he used to have his breakfast. This routine was maintained by his father when he reached his late 60s. I remember my father starting his day at 4 a.m. You may expect an SAQ question from this very line. When did the narrator's father start his day? He started his day at 4 a.m. and his first task was reading the namaz. By reading the namaz before dawn, it was before the dawn. You know that the crossing period or the bridge between night and day is called dawn. So we can conclude that his father was an early riser. After the namaz is nothing but the prayer of the Muslims for Almighty Allah. A religious Muslim has to read the namaz 5 times during a day, that is 24 hours. After the namaz, he used to walk down to a small coconut grove. Here, notice the use of the verb used to, that is, it was a regular routine for him to walk down to a small coconut grove. He used to reach the coconut grove on foot. We owned. They possessed the coconut grove. About 4 miles from our home, the distance between of the coconut grove from their home was about 4 miles. You may get another question from this very point. We would return with He would return with about a dozen coconuts tied together thrown over his shoulder. Another SAQ question is set from this very information. How many coconuts did APJ Abdul Kalam's father carry? His father carried nearly a dozen or about a dozen coconuts, that means 12 coconuts, home. He had a special manner in which he carried the coconut or he brought the coconut home. He fastened or tied the coconuts together and allowed them to hang from his shoulder. This was the peculiar way to carry or to bring the coconuts home. And only then would he have his breakfast. After reaching home or after bringing the coconuts home, he had his breakfast. This remained his routine even when he was in his late 60s. This was not the routine of Jainul Abdin for a short period. He maintained this very routine when he reached in late 60s. Now we have the concluding paragraph. I have throughout my life tried to emulate my father in my own world of science and technology. I have endeavored to understand the fundamental truths revealed to me by my father and feel convinced that there exists a divine power that can lift one up from confusion, misery, melancholy, and failure, and guide one to one's true place. And once an individual severs his emotional and physical bond, he is on the road to freedom, happiness, and peace of mind. I think this paragraph or the concluding paragraph is the most important one throughout the essay. We know that APJ Abdul Kalam, the writer himself, was a man of science and technology, and his father Jainul Abdin was a man of spirituality or a man of religion. And our common belief is that these two world, that is science and the world of science and technology and the world of spirituality, lie at the two different poles. But here, according to APJ Abdul Kalam, this is not true. In spite of being a man of science and technology, he tried throughout his life to imitate, to follow his father's spirituality. And he did not find, or it was possible for him, because he did not find any enmity between these two worlds. He tried to find out, trying to make out the basic truths which his father revealed to him. It was the confession, it was the trust of the, or it was the strong belief of the writer APJ Abdul Kalam that there was the existence, or there is the existence of divine power, and it has the capability to uplift one from confusion, misery, melancholy, and failure. That is, it can provide a man relief, or it can provide a person a relief from confusion, misery, melancholy, or failure. Not only that, if he attains such kind of relief, he is guided by the same divine power to one's true place, that is, from where we have been sent to lead a human life for a brief span of time. We are the guest here for a limited time, but our original abode is there from where we have been sent, that is the heaven. And once and when a person can cut off or amputate his emotional and physical bond, or his bond with the emotional and physical world, he is guided to the road of freedom, happiness, and ultimately peace of mind. And you know that these are the basic or fundamental desires of human life. Now I am trying to explain the line I have throughout my life, that is, throughout the narrator APJ Abdul Kalam's life, he has tried to emulate my father, to follow, to imitate my father in my own world of science and technology. Here the narrator admits that he is a man of science and technology, but in spite of that, or in spite of being a scientist and technologist, he has tried to follow his father's world, that is world of spirituality throughout his life. I have endeavored to understand. He had a great attempt to understand, to make out the fundamental truths, the basic truths, which are the truths which is based on the base, BASE, revealed to me by my father. Here, the narrator also admits, also confesses that these fundamental truths were told to him by his father, or he was told these fundamental truths by his father, and feel convinced that not only that he got the persuasion that there exists a divine power, that is, he believed or he was convinced that there was the existence of divine power that can lift one from confusion, that can uplift one, that can provide him and relief in case of confusion, misery, melancholy, and failure. Confusion means hesitation or dubious attitude. Misery means one kind of suffering. Melancholy means mental agony, mental anxiety, melancholy or melancholia, and failure, that is opposite of success. These are the conditions in which a man may feel puzzled and guide one to one's true place. That is, the function or the duty of divine power does not end with providing a person relief from confusion, misery, melancholy, and failure. It its duty also includes to guide one from one's to one's true place, that is, from where human beings really belong. And once an individual severs his emotional and physical bond, and whenever a person can cut off his emotional and physical bondage, he is on the road to freedom, happiness, and peace of mind. He is led to the road to freedom, happiness, and peace of mind. As I have already told you that these are the basic or ultimate desire of human life.